Ishvaram na hinast atmanatmanam tato yati param gati samam pashyan hi sarvatra samavasthitam ishvaram nahi naschatmanatmanam tato yati param gatim samam pashyan hi sarvatra samavasthitam ishvaram nahi naschatmanatmanam tato yati param gatim samam pashyan hi sarvatra samavasthitam ishvaram nahi naschatmanatmanam tato yati param gatim. Samam, equally. Pashyan, seeing. He, certainly. Sarvatra, everywhere. Samavasthitam, equally situated. Ishvaram, the super soul. Na, does not. Hinasti, degrade. Atmana, by the mind. Atmanam, the soul. Tata, then. Yati, reached. Param, the transcendental. Gatim, destination. Actually, we're at the text 29. Okay, I will go back to 28 texts. Text 28 first. Samam sarvishu bhujishu tishthantam paramishvaram vinashyat svavinashyantam pashyati sapashyati. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. One who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies, and who understands that neither the soul nor the super soul within the destructible body is ever destroyed, actually sees. Translation one more time. One who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies, and who understands that neither the soul nor the super soul within the destructible body is ever destroyed, actually sees. Purport. Anyone who by good association can see three things combined together, the body, the proprietor of the body or individual soul, and the friend of the individual soul, is actually in knowledge. Unless one has the association of a real knower of spiritual subjects, one cannot see these three things. Those who do not have such association are ignorant. They simply see the body and they think that when the body is destroyed, everything is finished. But actually it is not so. After the destruction of the body, both the soul and the super soul exist. and they go on eternally in many various moving and non-moving forms. The Sanskrit word Parameshvara is sometimes translated as the individual soul, because the soul is the master of the body, and after the destruction of the body, he transfers to another form. In that way, he is master. But there are others who interpret this Parameshvara to be the super soul. In either case, both the super soul and the individual soul continue. They are not destroyed. One who can see in this way can actually see what is happening. And the text number 29, which is chanted in Sanskrit form. One who sees the super soul equally present everywhere, in every living being, does not degrade himself by his mind. Thus he approaches the transcendental destination. One more time translation. One who sees the super soul equally present everywhere, in every living being, does not degrade himself by his mind. Thus he approaches the transcendental destination. Purport. The living entity, by accepting his material existence, has become situated differently than in his spiritual existence. But if one understands that the Supreme is situated in his Paramatma manifestation everywhere, that is, if one can see the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in every living thing, he does not degrade himself by a destructive mentality, and he therefore gradually advances to the spiritual world. The mind is generally addicted to sense-gratifying processes, but when the mind turns to the super soul, one becomes advanced in spiritual understanding. I will read the translations once again. One who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies, and who understands that neither the soul nor the super soul within the destructive body is ever destroyed, actually sees. One who sees the super soul equally present everywhere, in every living being, does not degrade himself by his mind. Thus he approaches the transcendental destination. This chapter is entitled Nature, the Enjoyer, and Consciousness. And as we can see, this chapter describes the field of activities and the knower of the field of activities. Actually, there are two of them, as we know. There are two knowers of the body. This body is called the field of activities, and there are two knowers of the body, which are the individual soul and the super soul. And it is said that one who can understand these three subjects, the material body, the field of activities, the individual soul, the proprietor of this body, and the super soul, who is the supreme proprietor of all the individual souls and all the material bodies, all the material and spiritual objects as well. So one who can understand all these three subjects can, he has all the knowledge required for him. And actually, this is the knowledge. Modern scientists, or anyone for this matter, they may try arguing this point. Okay, why do I have all the knowledge if I just know the body and I know the soul and the super soul? But as we know, first of all, we boil down all the scientific research, all the achievements of the modern science, all the philosophy and books which are out there in the world. If we just take all this knowledge and just boil it down to just one question: what's it for? What's it for? Why people write their books? Why people do their research? Why people study in universities? So what's the purpose of this all? So the answer is we want to become happy. So the individual soul, as we know, is a part of Satchitananda Vigraha, where how Prabhupada puts it, parts and parcels. So from one point of view, we are eternally one with God, and from another point of view, we are eternally separated from God. And also, parts and parcels may be interpreted as business partners. Like if you have a business and you have a business partner, so the same way God has a business, and his business is to enjoy. He is the supreme enjoyer, and we are being, like Prabhupada puts it, little Krishnas. So we are little parts of Krishna. We also have this desire to be happy, to enjoy. But being like junior business partners, our business is to help Krishna in his business, to achieve his enjoyment, to help his enjoyment. And when we do this thing, then we are eternally happy, and we are eternally free from the material dualities. Unless we want to come down to the material world and try to be happy without Krishna. If we take, for example, an average wage of a director in an oil company, like I don't know what about America, but in Russia, I read an article, the director general, how we call it, CEO, so the chairman, he gets, that much money. It would be, I guess, enough to to finish the temple of Vedic planetarium. Just take his annual wage and all the payments he gets for whatever. And he has many deputies. Yeah, he has many deputies because he cannot do all the work himself. So we have a CEO, we have this officer, that officer. So they are not getting that much as the boss, because the rule is they have their wage can be from 20 to 40% of his wage. But still, it's millions of dollars. So same way. I mean, if you can find a better job, you can only become CEO in this company to have better money, or if you are fortunate enough, like Bill Gates or anyone else for this matter, to open a big business like this, so then you can have bigger money. But otherwise, these guys are also enjoying a lot. So same way, Krishna is the boss. So Krishna is the supreme personality of God. And people very often ask the question, okay, why does the God have to look like this? So why does he have to be blue and 16 years old and with flute? And this question is answered very nicely by the late Michael Jackson. You probably all know Michael Jackson. His late 20s. Once Michael saw one of our pictures, one of the BBT pictures, and on that picture Krishna was so nice with his flute, nicely decorated, and Michael told to his painter, yes. Anyway, so he told someone from his crew, do you see this picture? And he pointed to Krishna, and then he said, okay, I want to look exactly like him. So this is the answer. So to understand why Krishna is blue, why he is 16 years old, why he holds the flute in his hand, we have to reverse the logic. It means that we want to imitate Krishna. We want to imitate him as the enjoyer, and it is given that Krishna has the blue color because he just like it. He has actually different colors in his different manifestations depending upon his particular lila, particular bhav. As Lord Ramachandra, he is green. Yes, if I'm not mistaken, Lord Ramachandra. I mean, can you imagine something green? As Krishna, he is a darkish blue. But according to our acharyas, this color is not exactly like what we see in the material world. It's not exactly that blue or that green. But still, to give us an idea, this is the color. And considering his flute, if you are a musician, then probably you can estimate that amongst all the instruments, flute is probably the most emotional instrument. But still it is given that Krishna likes flute the most. So flute is his instrument, and he's doing wonderful solos on his flute. He's doing wonderful music and thus he attracts the minds of all the living entities. So if we reverse the logic, then we will understand that someone who has all the power, all the beauty, all the wealth, he prefers to look like this, and based on the authority of the Shastras, we accept this opinion. And even the wealthy people of this world, they prefer to use different kinds of chemicals, diets, exercises to look even in their mature age to look nice, to look beautiful. And one of the we are coming to India and we're experiencing cultural shock. So same way, just a few years ago, Indian people, they used to experience a cultural shock. Nowadays it's all changing, but a few years ago, someone from India asking a foreigner, okay, how old are you? Oh, I'm 50. Yes, you're 50. No, I can't believe it. So, I mean, he doesn't look like he's 50. Well, it applies more to ladies. Anyways, so if someone's having money, can do whatever operations, employ chemicals, diets, a healthy way of life, raw food, whatever, to look younger than they are, like, okay, I want to look exactly like I used to look when I was let's say 30. So just 30 years. I look like 30 years old until I die. So if someone has this option, so what to speak about the Supreme Personality of God? He prefers to maintain his 16 years old form. So he's eternally 16 years old, and meantime he's the Supreme Boss, he's the Supreme Personality of God. So, being his part and parcels, we also want to enjoy, we want to be happy. But there is one problem. I cannot become happy unless I know who I am. This is actually the problem with all the people who are trying to find happiness in the material world. So, okay, here I am, and I want to find happiness. I want to be happy. And then we start, okay, when I'm young, okay, who am I? I'm a young man, so okay, my digestion is working nicely, and all other departments. So this means I need a young woman, okay, so she will cook, and she will have children, and this and that. And then they have all this jazz, children, house, color TV, freezer, big and third, credits, and bank loans. Yes, and then suddenly brain starts working, and by the time they are old, they prefer, not prefer, but many of them, their consciousness expands up to the level of the world. We should care for the nature. We should leave something to our sons and daughters and grandsons and granddaughters. So we should take care for the ecology and stuff like this. So, okay, before I turn like 40 or maybe 35, my so-called desires correspond to the nature of my body. Like, if someone is young and you try to preach him that, oh, we're all gonna die, and this world is temporary, and there is no enjoyment in it, and the guy is like, all his glands are ready to fight, digestion and other things, and he just have to have his chance. So he just goes in and out, so he won't listen to you. This is why in the Vedic system everything is arranged in such a way that usually, at least this is what Srila Prabhupada says, that the girls used to get married in a very early age. There is a movement nowadays, movement or organization which fights against early marriage. Probably there is a reason behind that. I don't want to say anything, but probably like 50, 60 or maybe 100 years ago, this movement would have a lot of work in India, because like Srila Prabhupada says that, if I remember correctly, his sister got married when she was 12. Yes, am I right? She was 12, and yes. So this is the reason why in a Vedic civilization, girls used to marry by the age of 12, maximum 15 years old, and the boys usually were getting married from 16 to 25. Is it like this? So, because when you are young, when you have this passion, when you have the whole program to do, you're carrying the karma of your family, and you are to have sons, daughters, and okay. So this is why you're given a chance to do this. So they're getting married, getting sons, getting daughters, and working hard. Then when the passion, as the passion subdues, then gradually he is becoming ready to hear the transcendental knowledge. Once Srila Prabhupada, one of his theses was that they are not going to listen to you before you satisfy their hunger. This was one of the reasons he started this Food for Life program, because he said that when people are hungry, they're not gonna hear what you have to say, considering transcendental knowledge. This is why the Vedic civilization is arranged in such a way to satisfy it, so we can satisfy our material desires, and when we are really ready to get the transcendental knowledge, here it is. But as far as Vaishnavas, our authority, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Prabhupada, actually, being faithful to Srila Prabhupada inevitably means that, we are faithful to his predecessors also, because Srila Prabhupada based his preaching on their teachings. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that for a devotee, there are two main things. First is his devotional service, and second thing is the required standard of sense enjoyment. So as far as the life of a devotee, we have only two main things. If you take like a big picture, the big picture is my devotional service, which is hearing, chanting, etc. And in order to be able to go on with my devotional service lifetime, I need some sense enjoyment. And according to our acharyas, if we just stop all the sense enjoyment altogether, we'll just die. It's just impossible. It's just impossible to completely restrain from sense enjoyment. So, as far as Vaishnavas, we should consider these two main parts. Okay, I have to do my devotional service. In the meantime, I have my psychophysical frame. I have the psychophysical frame, which is this material body, and I have to have some standard of sense enjoyment, and of course we have to learn this standard from the shastras. But still, everyone has a different standard. Like it says that there should be no envy in the society of the Vaishnavas. Someone maybe got the karma of a king, so he has to have these facilities. He has to have kingly facilities. And someone's got another karma, different karma, maybe more simple, so he can be satisfied with less sense enjoyment. And of course, when one is spiritually advanced, he is above the sense enjoyment. So his senses are getting enjoyment on Krishna's will. Like we may take, for example, Raghunath Das Goswami, who used to fast and almost all the time, and he used to have just a cup of buttermilk once in a few days. So I mean, you can try living like this, but at least I find it impossible for myself. If I don't have prasadam at least twice a day up to the neck, all the 6 tastes. Especially here in India, I learned how to love, the pungent taste, the spicy food. So if I don't have prasadam twice a day up to the neck, then I'm sorry, I'm out of the game. I just cannot do my devotional service without this. But Raghunath Das Goswami, he could do this. So this is why Prabhupada, and it was especially stressed by his dear disciple Srila Gauragovinda Swami. He said especially that do not imitate. If you're hungry, you ask for more food. Okay, can I have sabji? Can I have rice? Can I have this? Can I have that? Because Brahmana means he's honest and simple-hearted. So if we cannot be satisfied with a simple standard of life, then of course we should be ready to work hard for a better standard. And along the way, we should not forget about hearing and chanting. And as Vaishnavas, we know that to really become happy, I have to know who I am. I have to know, okay, I may think that I'm this body, and I'm trying to act in this way by having family, by having work, by having hobbies, by having whatever. But everyone is saying that it doesn't work like this. So no one has become completely happy by just living on the material plane. And even those who have achieved success, they're still not satisfied, and it makes them to do some charitable work for others, do something to, you know, because just to satisfy the senses, just sense satisfaction doesn't bring the real happiness. This is why they're trying to act on the level of sattva guna, the mode of goodness, by doing some charity work. The very same Bill Gates is doing some charity work. Well, another thing is how beneficial this work is, but still he is believed to be spending $1 billion per year for charity. Okay. So this means that along the way, along with doing our program, along with doing our program as material bodies and mind, because we have to live their lives. We have to live the life of our material bodies and our minds. We are not liberated souls. Like we can make a simple experiment. Someone wants to go to the bathroom, and you can try preaching to him over, you know this body, you're not connected to this body, you're not dependent on this body, and he's doing like, yes, you're right, but I need to go to the bathroom. This is what conditioned soul means. So we are conditioned. Conditions apply. Conditions apply to our devotional service. So this is why we have to go on with this program. And Srila Prabhupada actually gave us very nice advices. He outlined the whole program. We cannot follow yet, but still we should know that the program is there. He wanted us to create farming communities and live in farming communities. And probably our generation, the work of our generation is to go on with the preaching mission, go on with Harinam Sankirtan, and there is a hope that more of the right people will come up and will help us to accomplish this mission. Because I don't know, as far as me, I'm not a farmer. I tried doing this for 2 years, and well, it's a little bit hard. If I cannot do my music, then my mind is not satisfied, and I have to live it this way. But at least by going on with our preaching mission, we have a hope to find the right people for this work. And we see that the farming communities are still there. There are some farming communities, and people coming forward with their initiatives to create something like this, to protect the cows, to do the farming. And as long as we cannot follow this program, we have to follow whatever is destined for us. Like someone's an engineer, someone's a worker, someone's a musician, someone's a writer. So according to our karma, we have to do this. The fact is, we have to know all the three things. We have to know the field of activities, which is our material bodies. This means we have to understand our material conditioning. We have to understand our psychophysical conditioning. We have to understand our spiritual nature as well. And we have to understand who is Krishna, because without understanding Krishna, we cannot advance really far in knowing ourselves. And as long as we don't know who we are, we cannot really become happy, because we're trying to enjoy as material bodies and minds, and it doesn't bring us much happiness. But someone may say, okay, let's say I accept everything. Okay, I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul. There is a super soul, and I accept the Shastric statement that by chanting the holy name, you can experience the highest pleasure, the Paramananda. But I'm doing this, and I don't feel any happiness. You know, I'm moving my lips, Hare Krishna, and, you know, what is that? You know, I don't experience anything special. Of course, when we just begin our devotional service, we are giving in advance, or in the presence of a pure devotee, someone who is really pure and who's chanting or preaching is Shabda Brahma, we immediately get enlightened, and we can experience such a wonderful taste. Like Srila Prabhupada's disciples, according to their memories, they used to experience such a great spiritual taste that they were ready to do anything and everything for Srila Prabhupada. Like I heard that the first temple in France was right under a bridge. Can you imagine, like a flyover? And under the flyover, there is a Krishna's temple. You know, they used to live basically like gypsies there, but because they experienced such a wonderful taste by association with Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is saying in this purport that unless one has the association of a real knower of spiritual subjects, one cannot see these three things. So unless we have an association with a self-realized soul, we can hardly get a spiritual experience. We can hardly experience what is the spiritual taste. And it's so good that Srila Prabhupada left us his lectures, kirtans, his books. So we should be in regular contact with those, with his books, especially with his lectures, with his kirtans. And we should also see his advanced followers as his representatives, and not only his advanced followers, but all his sincere followers. We should see them as the representatives of Srila Prabhupada. And through each and every of his disciple or representative, Srila Prabhupada wants to teach us a particular lesson. So they are all our teachers. And I remember one story considering this point. Unless one has the association of a real knower of spiritual subjects, one cannot see these three things. One who really knows these three subjects, one who has really who have really had an experience of himself as the spirit soul, of the super soul, or the supreme personality of Godhead, and one who really understands what is the field of activities, what is this wonderful boat of human body to carry us, which can, carry us back to Godhead if we just steer it to the proper direction. So there was a you probably all know Madhvacharya. Of course you know Madhvacharya, he's our Sampradayacharya. Madhvacharya had a bull with big horns, and this bull carried the bullock cart with his books, because Madhvacharya used to travel and preach a lot, and he required his library to dispute with different pandits and Mayavadis. And whenever Madhvacharya used to give a class, this bull, this animal, was all ears. He used I mean, the Bull used to hear. He was all ears, and he used to hear very, very attentively. And Madhvacharya would always point to his disciples. See, this Bull is so attentive, and you guys are sleeping. And as the result of this punya, actually we have many examples when cows entered the temples during the kathas, or they entered temples just to have darshan. So they are such wonderful animals. I'm sorry. As the result of this hearing, the bull became a prince in his next life. So he was not a bull anymore, but he was a prince. And he had one specific feature. Whenever he wanted to drink, he used to enter the river on his horse until the water was, up to his neck, and he used to drink like this. Well, I don't know. I probably wouldn't dare to drink from the river, especially here in India. But he was local, anyways. The germs were his relatives. Oh, okay. Oh, it was a difference. Okay. But I saw Brajavasis drinking, not the drinking water, but that salty water which is going from another tap with no problem. They can do it. Yes. Anyways, once this prince was doing his business of drinking, and I believe that was Akshobhya Tirtha, a disciple of Madhvacharya, at least in his line. And Akshobhya was doing his meditation on the bank of that river, and he saw that prince entering the water with his horse and his other man and drinking. And he broke his meditation and told to the prince, "Hey, you're drinking like a bull." Well, which wasn't really a compliment, I guess. But what happened, as soon as Akshobhya told this to the prince immediately, because that was Shabda Brahma, whatever is coming from the lips of a pure devotee is a Shabda Brahma. The prince immediately recalled everything. He recalled that he was a bull in his previous life. He used to carry, he used to pull the bullock cart with the library of Shripada Madhvacharya. And so what the prince did, he just came out of the water and surrendered himself to that great Vaishnava. So it took just a few seconds and just a few words, and these words, it wasn't really a sophisticated philosophy. It was just, you're drinking like a bull, and that was the mantra which woke him up. So he became a great devotee in the line of Madhvacharya also. So unless we have this association, we cannot really have a clear vision of what is our material body and who we are, what is the super soul. And some people wonder, okay, how can I get this association? If I look around, I look around and it looks like we have a deficiency of pure devotees and great devotees. So what should I do? I'm an ISKCON, maybe I should go outside of ISKCON, maybe I should go to Radhakund and find a great devotee there. Like many people, this is what brings them outside of ISKCON. But these people don't know one thing. There is a secret. One of the secrets of spiritual life is whatever association we find ourselves in, whatever is our association, whatever is the quality of our hearing and chanting, it is the result of bhakti mukhi sukriti we have at the present time. And a mundane example could be, used in this case. Let's say I'm a musician and I want to perform with the best musicians of India. I want to perform. Was that I'm playing sitar? That musician. So yeah, music. Anyway, so I want to perform with the best musicians of India, or I want to perform with the best musicians in the world. I want to catch John Petrucci by his beard and do like this a little bit, and pat him by his shoulder without him having a negative reaction. And I want to play guitar with him. Yeah, but if I'm fortunate enough to approach John Petrucci, then I'm actually approaching, I'm a disciple approaching a guru, and not just one peer approaching another peer, because he's playing guitar for 40 years, and so unless I'm on that level, unless I have practiced hard, I cannot, unless I am a professional musician myself, I cannot really count on. I mean, there are some cases of a few fortunate souls, or a few thousand fortunate souls who were fortunate enough to meet, a pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada. But still, when it took them, it has been taking them a hard work to really make it up to that level he wanted them to advance. So general rule is, unless I'm a professional musician, I cannot really count for a good gig with other professional musicians. So this means until I've done my 108% to become a pure devotee, I cannot really. I mean, there is a little chance I can get some association of a pure Vaishnava, but unless I have accumulated enough bhakti, mukhi sukriti, which manifests as a real sincerity in following the instructions of a pure devotee, I mean, until that time, I cannot really count on much mercy. But actually, mercy is there. We have all the Srila Prabhupada's instructions. We have very sincere Srila Prabhupada's followers. We have pure devotees in ISKCON. We should be convinced of that. But the problem is in the quality of our hearing and chanting. What exactly we can hear from what they have to tell us. How we perceive their kirtan, how we perceive their preaching, and to what extent are we following their instructions. So, and in order to make it one day, in order to have a hope to make it one day, what we have to do, we have to divide the big task. Like, to become a pure devotee is a big task, really. It's like, it will take us a lifetime, and maybe not just one lifetime to make it. So we have to divide the big task of becoming a pure devotee into little tasks. So little tasks, and of course I cannot do it just by my own, whatever computing mind I got. I will surely get perplexed. This is why we have to have an authority in our spiritual life, and this is why we have to have an instructor, and maybe even a few instructors, and the initiator. So it says that we can have only one initiating guru, but we can have a few instructing spiritual masters. And actually, the more one knows the Shastras, the more instructors he can have, or she can have. Because one who knows the Shastras, basically there is a level when he can get instruction from anywhere, not just from the senior devotees or from the peers, but from even from the non-devotees. He can get a good instruction if he knows the Shastras, if his spiritual consciousness is developed. So what we have to do, we have to divide the big task of becoming a pure devotee little tasks, on more simple tasks. And first we have to understand that without the mercy of Srila Prabhupada or Srila Prabhupada's representative, we cannot, we're not going to make it, because whoever thinks that he or she can advance in the spiritual life by their own efforts, they are, they won't achieve any success in the spiritual life. So I have to find a bona fide spiritual master, and if I haven't done it yet, and surrender myself at his feet and follow his instructions. And the first thing any bona fide spiritual master is doing, usually, he considers the disciple's material conditioning and engages him accordingly. And by doing this so-called practical devotional service, which usually corresponds to his or her nature, the disciple starts making the progress, because this practical devotional service, by which we can engage whatever modes of material nature we have in our body, by doing this devotional service, we slowly, gradually, by satisfying our spiritual master and other superiors in this way, slowly, gradually we get the ability to listen, to hear the philosophy of Krishna consciousness and understand it. And to understand it means to apply in our life. Because theoretically we can, whoever is in Krishna consciousness for 5-10 years, they have probably heard everything. They had enough time to go through all the books of Srila Prabhupada. They can give wonderful lectures from the point of theoretical knowledge they got. But to understand the philosophy of Krishna consciousness means to apply it in our life. Like we may hear hundreds of times that it is offense. If we make offenses during our chanting, that we will never get Krishna Prema, even in many lifetimes. But one thing is to hear about this and even preach it to others. And another thing is really start working on our chanting. Like, for instance, we can start with not breaking one round we chant, which is a hard instruction, especially for, let's say, mothers with children. But whoever can do it in a particular time, which is usually Brahma Muhurta, they should take heed of Srila Prabhupada's instruction that he actually wanted, in order for us to make a substantial spiritual progress, he actually wanted us to chant not just one round without interruption. He wanted us to chant all the 16 rounds without interruption, very attentively. So by doing practical devotional service, we get the ability to apply the instructions of Guru Parampara in our life. This is the real progress. And one of the main points, which should be also mentioned, I'm winding up the lecture. One of the main points we should mention, in order not to get disappointed along the way, like so many devotees, I heard it hundreds of times. They are approaching their gurus or superiors with one question: I've been doing this devotional service for 10, 20, 30, 40 years and I cannot see any progress. Where is standing on here on the hand, and where is tears, other things like this. I don't have it in my life. Though I've been chanting for 10, 20, 30 years. And in order not to get disappointed in this point, we should remember that we should not compare our progress with the progress of others. And though Prabhupada used to stress particular points, he used to say, for instance, that we can make it back to God in just one lifetime, of course, if we're determined. But generally the Shastra says it takes at least 3 lifetimes. But Prabhupada says, no, you can make it in one lifetime if you're determined. But when we see others who are about to make it back to God, who are pure devotees, and compare them to ourselves, then we may get disappointed. Oh, he's such an advanced devotee, and I'm still here with all my anarthas, with all whatever I have. So we should not, at this point, we should not compare our progress with others if it generates envy. If we feel such a thing as envy, we should not compare our progress with the progress of others, because who knows, maybe, like, we may take, for example, someone's, a person from the West and someone's from India. Like, someone from India, like here in Vrindavan or in India, we can see so many people who are like demigods. Like, when he's singing, it's like, I don't know, he catches your heart and just, the heart melts like butter on the frying pan, and he's like, oh my God, he's singing, he's like, and he's doing all the possible things, like all the alabs, and using all the whatever, like 4 or 5 schools of singing are there. He's doing all this and he's doing it in such a wonderful way. And meantime, we can see that he is very much devoted to Krishna. And here is a guy from the West who can barely, say Krishna, the word Krishna, and with his back like this, and stomach big. He cannot breathe this air because the air is hot. He cannot drink, the water. He has to drink only particular water. He cannot eat this food, and cannot eat this food, and this food, and this food. He has to eat only this food, and this food, and this food. So, and if we try comparing them, then we may get disappointed. Oh, I probably should take another birth in India, somewhere in a Brahmin family, or maybe it's better to take birth in Indian family somewhere in America, so I get like Vedic culture and American education. So like win-win situation, like many people think. Yes, but if we look at the particular situation of these two persons, who knows, maybe this demigod with beautiful voice, maybe he's actually on his way of degradation. He's just, okay, maybe he got some punya from his previous life, but maybe he's committing offenses in the Dharma, and he's going to be a monkey in the next lifetime. And this guy from the West, maybe he's rising from hell. How do we know how do we know his background? Maybe he was a hopeless drug acid head before he joined drug addict, before he joined Krishna consciousness, and he has made a gigantic progress up to his present level, because he's rising up from hell, and this guy is going down from heavenly planets. So if we compare their present situation, here is a demigod and here is someone from Russia. Usually we cannot even speak proper English. We Russians, it's just one word. Okay, he's Russian. Okay, means give him a break. He cannot speak English. He cannot do this. He cannot do that. Okay, we just have them around for decorations. Yeah. Anyways, but maybe this poor Russian devotee, he's really working hard to rise up from hell, and by the time he makes it, he has enough muscles to just jump back to Godhead, and then Krishna will probably send him back for just one lifetime to, okay, just one more lifetime of preaching, please collect a few rascals from the material world, and then you come back. And that demigod with beautiful voice and peaceful mind, whatever credentials he's got, maybe he's on his way to fall down, because he's not taking seriously whatever credentials he was given from the past life. So this is why we we should not compare ourselves with others. Maybe we're just rising from hell, and by the time we make it, Krishna will have so much compassion upon looking on our pitiful pursuits to serve him. So he just, one drop of his mercy will drown us in the ocean of love of God. So this is, and whatever our present situation is, main thing is, like Prabhupada said, that do not give up the chanting, do not leave the society of the devotees. And so we should not. And if we don't feel the taste for chanting, like one Maharaj was asked, okay, I don't feel the taste for chanting, what should I do? And then his reply was, okay, you don't feel the taste for chanting, but the more dangerous situation is if you don't feel taste for reading Srila Prabhupada's books and hearing. So on our level, sometimes maybe this is more important. Okay, we go on with our 16 rounds. That is okay. And sometimes we don't have taste, we just chant our rounds mechanically. But if we have taste for reading Srila Prabhupada's books, if we have taste for hearing, then we have a hope. So one day our mechanical chanting will become the real chanting, and we will have the urge to chant more rounds, to have more kirtan, to do other devotional service as well. One day our heart will be hankering for the devotional service, which is the real prerequisite of going back to God. Okay, Hare Krishna, I stop with that and these questions.
What was the name of the prince?
Huh?
What was the name of the prince?
Mike's there.
H.G.Jaya is directly after Madhvacharya. What was the name of the prince who surrendered H.G.Jaya?
Yes.
Because listed in our list, the next one is Jaya Tirtha. I was just curious to know what the name of the prince was.
Who's after Jaya Tirtha?
There was Jaya Tirtha and Jnana Sindhu.
And after Jnana Sindhu?
Dayanidhi, Vijayanidhi, Rajendra, Jayadharma.
Okay, so Akshaya Tirtha is not listed there? Yeah, I'm sorry, I probably mixed.
Anyway, if you find that story again, find out. In case it's that was a very nice story. Where did you get the story from? Bhaktivedanta Maharaj.
Who? Bhaktivedanta Maharaj from Russia.
Oh yeah.
So he's giving wonderful lectures. I wish he could do the same thing in English, because his lectures are amazing. So he's got this story from somewhere from the Shastras, and unfortunately I heard this lecture I don't know, maybe 3 years ago. This is why I don't remember.
Well, if you can discover, I'm curious because this is the first time I'm hearing this story, and if you can discover where it got the stories, that would be very nice, because it would be nice to compile these kind of stories.
Yes.
I like to write children's books, so it's nice to have these kind of stories also.
Okay, maybe next time when Bhaktivedanta Maharaj comes over, you can talk to him, because he's like a treasure house of such stories. He can point you to the resource of these stories.
You were mentioning some things that was under discussion yesterday. So the devotional service is very important, but not just the hearing, but the lack of resistance to what you're hearing. I think this is a key point, because your false ego comes into play, your prarabdha karma, whatever. But if you keep on doing the service is actually transcendental and eternal. Your reaction to it is not necessarily that good. But if you keep on practicing, then you were explaining, actually. You just devotees, and you hear, you read, you chant, keep association with the devotees. You can't hang around for 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years still hanging around without having some kind of taste. There has to be some kind of taste. Even if, we know some people who hang around for 20 years and they never get initiated. When, they're so attracted to association with devotees and kirtan in the temple and just doing a little devotional service is very, very nice.